Hello, happy Sunday. It's raining, it's wet, and I'm out for my walk. Uh, Neither rain nor snow, nor sleet nor hail, etc. Except if it's really cold and quite unpleasant and I'm tired. But the pandemic has been a good discipline for me. So, on this day, what subject shall we talk about? It's hard to avoid CPAC down in Orlando, Florida. And I think there are a couple of observations that should put us on notice as to how we should approach the midterms. You've probably heard snippets of some of the crazy talk. You have other potential presidential candidates, Cruz and Hawley and others who are down there priming the pump for support for 4 years from now when they hope to run for president because they figure they can support Trump now and he'll fade in the interim. These candidates aside, the attendees at CPAC are crazy for Trump. You hear a lot of talk about how they're against the Republican Party. And, well, that's kind of good to hear. CPAC has always drawn, in my opinion, a more conservative group of people to begin with. But here's the reason we have to fight these characters. Let's choose a couple of examples. The youthful members, like Green from Georgia and Cawthorn from North Carolina, they represent a younger group for which no lie is too far away for them to say. No deleterious act is beyond their comprehension or ability to employ. Just read the Post today has a great profile on Cawthorn, all that he did in order to be elected, and all the lies he's told, and how Patrick Henry, who is not far from where I'm talking now, Patrick Henry College, very conservative, very strongly religious, may disagree with them and so forth. But when Cawthorn ran to be the youngest member of Congress at 25 this election year, they protested how he'd been a predator of women, how he'd been a bad student, how he hadn't observed the discipline and so forth. And I've known the people in succession there, and we've debated from time to time. And I was kind of glad to see that there was some semblance of what's an ethical basis or standard for approving or disapproving a candidate. So we have that. We have this element in the Republican Party which believes in disinformation. And later today, I'm talking to you in the morning, Trump is going to speak, and he's going to give his program for the next 4 years. It's unfortunate for the nation that Republicans have taken this turn in which lying and cheating are the way to get elected. Now, let's broaden the picture from CPAC. There are something like 28 states that are seeking to limit ways to vote in the upcoming elections. So, for example, if there were 9 days set forth when one could vote, they want to make it fewer days. If it's, say, 7 to 7 p.m., they want to make it fewer hours. If it's mail-in ballots, they want to restrict those. They want to restrict the discretion of the local districts in elections. Now, the talking heads today were, one I heard was saying H.R. 1, Voting Rights Act, will be helpful. Well, H.R. 1 is basically about campaign finance. And I've sat through a lot of these hearings on the Hill on the Judiciary Committee and heard testimony, which at the time I thought maybe wasn't true. And it was that basically money finds a way. But what if our Congress set standards for elections across the country that it could be 9 or 10 days or a longer period, that it should be no less than 7 to 7 and anybody online gets to vote when there is in-line voting? What about mail-in ballots and what the Postal Service has to do with ballots? You know, a number of these reforms. Now, could they get 60 votes in the Senate? No. There it is. Get rid of that 60 vote standard by a majority vote. We're at a crisis in America, and the way I see it, is that when you consider Biden's preference for unity, a value that I cherish and agree with, and he wants to do it for the soul of America, you have to appreciate that there is a hole in the soul of America. And that hole is those who do not begin with the same premises that you and I have, and that they are against more people voting because they believe the greater the freedom to vote, the less the chance they'll be elected. That tells you that they're wrong in a democracy. It is also instructive of why they want an autocracy. But not only must they malign and try to alter how we vote fully and fairly, they also have to lie. So what we have is this disinformation campaign that they use all the time in order to win what they shouldn't win if popular vote matters. So that's my thinking today. I don't know what I'll talk about in my podcast, but get out, try to stay dry if you can. And I'm out here in my cathedral of trees. It's beautiful. Talk to you. Bye-bye.